Alrighty, guys. Thank you for joining me for my first breakfast talk with you. Breakfast is a time of day I take pretty sacred. So every morning I get up, I get in my workout, I come back, and I make myself some breakfast. And what I like to do when I'm eating breakfast, so while I'm working out, I'm always thinking about different things. That's another sacred time for me. But breakfast is another time when I really reflect. So I'm not so much doing a lot of thinking about lots of different things, but I'm reflecting. What can I do today to make my day go well? Or what can I do today to benefit myself in the future or to benefit others? So that's my reflection time. So today's reflection was really on what I was thinking about during my workout this morning. And what I was thinking about was when I first got into health and fitness, which was after doing a lot of brainstorming. I was always into the recreational sports growing up with our rec program. And then up into middle school, I joined those school teams. And then in high school, I was on the high school team. Well, my freshman year in high school, or like 8th grade year coming into freshman year. So once I was in high school, I had graduated from 8th grade in middle school. I was able to join a strength and conditioning or summer conditioning program leading into my field hockey season, because field hockey is my fall sport, or always has been my fall sport. So going into that season, we had a new program, and it was the summer conditioning program that allowed us to lift weights as well as increase our speed and endurance and just get us ready for the season. So it was a great transition into those sports seasons for sure, because it got us into shape before we had to be putting our stick to the ball or our foot to the ball or whatever fall sport would have been for that person. And so my biggest fear going into that, well, not only was I a freshman, so there were tons of upperclassmen I was very intimidated by, but lifting weights was very intimidating. I mean, to think about it now, it seems silly that I was intimidated, but back then it was very intimidated. I had never really lifted weights. I had used dumbbells before, but who knows if I even had the proper form, and they were very light. And then when we got into powerlifting and doing hang cleans and different things like that, then it was weird. We actually we didn't even use weight. We just did regular shrugs and things like that to get ourselves used to the motions and get ourselves doing the proper form. And then we used the bar. So it's like a 45-pound bar. And that was, even picking that up was so scary. Like when I picked that up and I went to do my shrugs with just the bar or do my clean, like right to my chest with the bar, I was so intimidated. Before I even picked it up, I looked around the room to make sure nobody else was watching me. And it was really, really scary. And I was afraid of making a fool of myself. But one thing that I think about now more is the fact that all of those other people were new to this too. Whether they had lifted weights before in another setting or not, we were all learning the same basic techniques, and we were all having to start from scratch. And so really the fact that I had never touched a bar before and maybe somebody else had didn't necessarily mean that I wasn't going to be as good as they were, or didn't necessarily mean that they had been doing it right all along, because maybe they weren't. Maybe because they had learned the improper technique before and they thought that they knew everything. Maybe it was even harder for them because they had to erase everything they had learned before and start over. And so those are the types of things. It's like why are we scared of trying new things? Or why are we scared of not being as good as somebody else? When really we ourselves have nothing to lose. If I had never touched weights, I don't know where I would be right now. This has been such a huge part of my life. Like, I love running, I love cardio, I love doing things like that, hiking, climbing, different things. But lifting weights is such a neat dynamic. Like, the community around it, everything is amazing. I've grown to love my calluses. Like, I don't care. It's amazing. I feel so much more confident, especially I just did like a hammer and chisel program. So sometimes it's very intimidating because you don't have a plan. You don't really know what to do. Maybe you don't know the technique. The program showed me everything. I mean, I already knew a lot of good technique just from being in that class or in that strength and conditioning program growing up. But this taught me the technique the way they want me to do it. And so it was like I was starting all over again. But once it clicks, you can increase your weight and you'll surprise yourself so much. So anyway, it's just, my main point is that pushing past that fear is so, so important. So like the fact that we are scared of these things, maybe we're scared to talk to somebody else about our passions for fear that maybe they won't have the same thoughts. Well, our passions might be something that they're passionate about, and we could start something big. We could potentially, well, not only start a friendship, but we could start something beyond that. Maybe so many other people were scared to start talking, but they have the same passion as well. So you never know. Like, there are no limits, and you need to just do it. But Nike has their slogan, just do it. And I could not resonate any more with that. It's so true. We need to just do it. Just go out and do it. Pick up that bar and do what you were taught. And the more you practice it, or the more you step outside of your comfort zone, talk to people about your passions, start a new club, or just little things like that. Stepping outside of your comfort zone and breaking your own barriers down and just doing it each and every single day, stepping outside your comfort zone a little bit more will grow you so much in the long run. You have nothing to lose and only lots to gain. So if you do that every single day, think of all the gains you can make. And I'm not just making like a lifting joke. Think of all the gains, the life gains that you could make. And so we're very, very complacent people in general. Like, whether you do step outside your comfort zone or not, the fact that we have that comfort zone makes us very complacent, and it's hard to step outside of that. We look at it as a wall that we don't want to pass, but we need to not look at it as a wall or a barrier. We need to look at it as a door. Open those doors and just do it. So that's my big breakfast talk message for you today. And I'm really excited to continue these conversations. But have a great Thursday, and post any of your thoughts below on that subject. Maybe your own passions. Use this as a way to step outside of your comfort zone.